as a small potatoes artist, if I can get 1,000 streams, if I can break that cursed like less than 1,000 like mark that shows everyone that you're a little bitch,
Yeah.
like if I can break that in even a week, I would shit my pants, dude. Welcome to St. Albans Central. I'm your host, St. Alban. Giving a shout out to my boy Ryan. He's over on Mercy Ship, saving whales. I don't really know what he's doing. No, I think he's out there like doing surgeries. Very important work. I'm sorry to belittle it with my jokes. Anyway, we're here. We are about a week or 9 days when this comes out from my actual release of my first single. May 6th. Mark your calendars. Tell Siri to remind you. You don't really have an excuse to forget things anymore today. If you forget things today, it's because you're incompetent and you can't be like, "Hey Siri, put this in my calendar." You know? It's kind of crazy. So if you forget things, you're the problem with the world. But anyway, my new single's coming out. I'm excited. This is my first single as a solo artist. Some of you don't know. St. Alban has been an entity for like 10 years or so. No, it can't be 10 years. It might be. Hey, Swishy Jacket Man, can you not move? We all can hear you.
You can hear it.
Yeah, dude. Damn, bro. Yeah, take that shit off, man. Jeez. No. No, so I don't know, maybe 8 years. I think I was probably like 24, but St. Alban started with me and a buddy. And then throughout the 8 years we've kind of changed and evolved, and then basically the two other guys who were in the band, they went their separate ways, and since St. Alban is my last name, I just decided to stick around and be in it. And I've been thinking a lot. Bob Lefsetz is a writer that I follow. I like him a lot. I like a lot of his work. He's a dude who gets. I think he's a boomer for sure, but he not in a negative sense, but he's like an actual boomer. Or is boomer? Oh, boomer's like the negative connotation.
I think so at
Right?
this point.
Yeah.
Not originally,
But
but
that's not what they're called.
baby boomers.
Oh, it is. So it's like half of their names. So it'd be like if I was called a Lennial.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there it is.
Or an ennial.
Ennial. There it is. But he writes a bunch, and he wrote an article, basically like bands are dead, which I tend to agree with. And before I go on my rant and talk shit, I want you to know, if you want to be in a band, by all means, be in a band. Like, I'm a libertarian when it comes to what people want. Like, do what you want. Do what makes you happy. If it's like playing in a band with buddies, like, for sure, there's nothing better than that. But if you're trying to make it in music today, being in a band is so complicated. I mean, like, just St. Alban itself, I think we went through, I want to say throughout the lifespan of the band, we went through like 12 different members. We started, it was a 2-piece, and then we were a 4-piece, and then 2 of those guys left. We brought in another person, and 12's generous. Okay, maybe like 6. But anyway.
I've also got an official number crunch thanks to Musical Family Tree.
What?
2013 is the official starting year of St. Alban.
Oh, really? Oh, fuck, dude. That's
So
10
you're
years is
creeping up
coming
on
up.
10 years.
Getting old as shit. But yeah, so we had people in it, in and out. And it was really me and my buddy, shout out to Fred. We did it for, we were probably the most committed. But when you deal with bands, it's like, the thing I always had a hard time, with a lot of with other people, like having other members, is just like, sometimes they're not as committed as you are. They're not carrying the load. And a lot of it too is like, you don't have to be you don't have to be super committed, but I think a lot of it's just on me. Like I wasn't communicating. I wasn't letting people know what I wanted. I mean, it just takes a lot of work to be in a band. And the commitment levels is just something when and this is even before money is involved. This is all before. This is all just writing songs, having a good time, and you haven't even made it yet. It's just hard to keep people in a band who are excited about it because at some point it's like, everybody wants to be the front man. Like everybody wants the most attention. There is a select few, but they're locked down in bands already that don't care. They're just like, I just want to play. I want to have a good time. But not me. Daddy needs to be in front. He needs to be front and center. The whole show, the whole shebang. Everyone needs to watch him. But yeah, dude, it's just hard. And like I don't know, you would like want to do things. And then like if I wanted to play a show back in the day, you had to have the band play. And if the band couldn't play or one of the members couldn't play, you couldn't play the show. Now I can play almost any show. I just have to, call my list of drummers or synth players or guitar players and then they can show up. But it's so hard. It's so hard to make it in music. And I think probability says that solo artists will rise to the top. Because it's just way easier. You don't need a band like you used to, dude. You can do everything on a laptop. Every single thing you want to record, you can do it on a laptop. When I first started, I was like against MIDI and everything. It was just like drums, bass, guitar. And even to like find the song, you had to just like beat it out. You had to have a bunch of guys in the room. That sounds a little weird, but you just had a bunch of dudes in the room playing, Whoa! Whoa. Yeah, you just had to have a bunch of guys in the room playing, or girls. Girls can play too. That's fine. And try to figure out the song. But now you can buy a laptop. It has some sort of recording software on it. You can get any recording software. There's a bunch of free stuff out there, and all you need is a microphone. And if you're really poor, you can just use the computer mic. And if you're really poor, you can just use your phone. It's like music's so much easier to make than it was. But then, let's say you get some success, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, now we have to split the money 3-4 different ways, as opposed to paying hired guns, which can be cheaper in the long run, but it's just hard, dude. It's like super hard. And then you deal with like royalties, because like me, I have any song that I wrote back in the day, anybody who was a part of it is technically a contributor, or they are a part owner of the song. And like when you first start out, dude, you're just writing songs, you're having fun, and then once you record it, it's copywritten. And then, if you want to take it serious, like that's when things get weird and people start suing each other. It's like, how many bands have sued each other? They're like all good buds, and then whatever happens, and they just start suing people. It just, I don't know. It's really hard. I don't know if it's worth it. Yeah, and then I think too, it's just like a lot. If you do make it, people want a face. They want a singular person that represents the brand. They don't necessarily want all 4 people. Maybe this dude can be on Drummer Magazine, but like the front man is probably going to be on the magazine. And he's also, whoever wrote the song's going to get more money than the people who didn't, But if you want to be in a band, I just like do it. Hopefully you can find committed people and then split everything down the middle. Like nobody thinks they'll sue each other. Like I don't make any money. None of my friends make any money. Like we don't care. But as soon as someone starts making money and then you're like, yo, hey, like I didn't get paid. I haven't got nearly as enough as you have. It's just, I don't know. You were in a band.
We didn't make any money either.
You didn't
so
make
that
any
wasn't
money.
An issue.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem it. If you want to have a career, I think now is the best time to be a solo artist. You don't need to be in a band anymore. It's just too hard. It's too hard to be in a band unless somebody has a van. Then be in a band, and then kick them out once you make it.
Yeah. There's also, I mean, if the live experience is what you're wanting to get out of a band, I know so many solo artists that have a band technically that they use the same people every show.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, you're probably gonna play every show with me,
Right.
Isaac. Like you and Isaac are probably my main. Like you will be there every step of the way. So like, is it a band? Yeah, but it's like it's the best. Hired guns are the best way forward because I get to make all the decisions. The hired guns, their ego's not involved, you know. And if like the best hired guns are the ones who will like give you feedback. They're just like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? But hired guns over bands any day of the week.
Unless you have a songwriting partner or something like that. That's where something different comes into play there.
Yeah, but then don't. Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, I think you could do duos, like two people in a band, but I don't know. But who's singing it?
Does it matter?
It does. It does matter, dude. I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about. It's like there's definitely been challenges like now that I have to do everything by myself.
Well, that was something with my band. When we first recorded, we had some connections that were like, we're going to talk to some managers, but you guys are probably going to have to pick one person to sing
Sure.
because two of us sang, which based on the history of music, I thought that was ridiculous and for what we were doing, but people were very specific about that.
But that's what you do. It's just like the labels, all these there's a bunch of leeches. Not all of them. There's some good ones out there. If you want to manage me, look at me. But like, no, it's like a lot of them are a bunch of leeches. I've had buddies who have like made it really far and then they get you in like a separate room. It's just like, hey man, like you don't need those guys, you know? You can, because they want to manage a singular person because it's way easier and it's probably way easier to control somebody, you know? Like what happened to fun?
Gone.
Because someone wanted to go have his own fun. Guess what happened? Nothing.
He got a song with Pink.
He got a song with Pink, which is great, you know? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think the people who listen to Pink are, you know, definitely deep into their 40s. Hands down. Maybe mid-30s. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, yeah, man, like if the labels get a hold of you and they just like divide and conquer. Like that's their whole, at least from talking to a handful of friends who have like gone to that place. But it's not like there's challenges of like now I have to market it. I have to do all my social media. I have to do all the press releases. I have to do so much and it's a lot. It's for sure a lot. It's definitely nice to have a band for that. But I think you can find like, I mean, you and I were helping each other. I have other friends who will like help me. You don't necessarily need a band for that. If you just have a supportive like artistic community, you can probably, you know.
That's the key thing, right? Is you have to have a community of some kind, whether it's a band or whether it's other people around you that are going to help you out. Because like, for example, I'm not making money from shows right now. Like neither of us are making a ton of money from shows. So there's not like, when you say hired guns, it's not like we're just paying out people hundreds of dollars for the gig, right? Like we're doing it because we're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%. But yeah, dude. And it's just like, if you want to make money, there's barely any money in music anymore. Like if you want to make like a something livable just off of streams, you're going to have to be in like a few hundred million streams. If you want to make a living, your song, and then like if you're there, you're playing shows, you're probably getting like brand deals, you're getting a bunch of other stuff. But other than that, man, it's just like, man, if you're making, let's say a band is making $100K a year, they have a manager, that manager takes 10%, you know. So that's $90K. And then a tour manager, let's say they take, I don't know, I'll just say 10% just because I'm not good at math. That's like 80 grand. And then that's assuming all these other expenses that are probably coming out and then taxes as well. I mean, 30%, 25% taxes, let's say. So like 25% of 80 is 20, so that leaves 60 grand for 4 people. I mean, 15K each.
Yeah.
And that's not a lot of money. Whereas like if I did it, if I made 100K,
If you make 60 grand,
that's like 60 grand for me.
yeah.
And that's like livable. I mean, depending on where you are, that's super livable. I don't know. I wouldn't be in a band. I would do fun projects like write songs with people and maybe play like a local show, but like that's a fun project. I'm not like this is my main thing. If it was my main thing, dude, I don't think I could do the band thing.
It looks like it would take 20 million streams a year to make 60 grand.
20 million streams a year. Okay,
Yeah,
I was
60 grand a year.
I was fairly off, but yeah, no, I mean, but
And
then
that's a lot of streams.
yeah, that is a lot of streams, and it's just like, and I mean, Spotify, none of the streaming companies they don't pay, they pay hardly anything, because Spotify or the labels got into bed with Spotify and they sold out all of all the royalties for equity in the company. Because labels don't care. They just want money, A lot of people complain about Spotify, man. They complain that they just don't, like, it doesn't pay enough. And it's, like killing the artist. But it's like, I agree. I 100% agree that that Spotify doesn't pay enough. But it's an incredible tool. Like, before Spotify, I couldn't, like, the only way you could do something is like on iTunes. And like there's so much data. If you want to be successful in music, you got to figure out a way to read data. I know it's boring, but like Spotify, every time you put out a song, it will tell you where all your streams are from. And you can collect that data to tour. Like a lot of people, we just tour, they tour a city to city just because like, oh, this sounds fun. But nobody ever comes. But if you actually have the data to back it up, it shows you like, oh, I have like a couple hundred monthly listeners in Cincinnati. Let's go play a show. Or like Des Moines, Iowa. Like go ahead and play it. Maybe you can assume like 3 to 5% conversion rate. Maybe. I don't even know. But Spotify, I mean, for me, Spotify, it's just such a godsend of like marketing, data. You learn so much. I do wish they would pay more. I really do wish they would pay more, but I don't think it's in the future. But I also like I think the internet has just it's the creator economy. If you're trying to have an artistic career and you don't have multiple outlets to have income, I think you're limiting yourself. I mean, like you should have, if you can talk, you should probably try to have a podcast. If you create something, you should probably have a Patreon. If you should Twitch stream or YouTube stream, like, whatever it is. There's so many different ways for artists to make money. It used to be all the money was in, album sales and touring, and it's still and merchandise, and some of it's still there. But now those three things are still on the table, but there's so many. Like, you should have a YouTube channel. Like, it blows my mind when you don't have a YouTube channel. Artists need to figure out how to transfer their medium to video. The world is just it's a video medium. Everything has become video. And if you can't figure out how to have some sort of video presence, your likelihood of having a career is so small. I don't know. That's at least just what I've learned, and just like reading stuff. You can't depend on the old mediums. The world constantly changes, and you just have to keep changing with it. And if you're unwilling to do that, the probability is just like, it's tiny. It's minuscule. Dude, I don't know how these radio hosts do this. Like, I am talking, and it's like I ate an entire like pack of cotton swabs. My mouth is so dry. It's like the Sahara Desert. I don't even fuck, man.
I think you're dehydrated. That might be the problem.
That could also, I haven't drank like water all day, but I'm like talking like, how did Rush Limbaugh do this? He like talked for like hours and hours and hours a day.
He guzzled water. Should have seen him off mic.
I guess, but yeah. So my single's coming out. My strategy. This is the first time I'm trying social media marketing. I have a friend who's going to help me out a lot, which I'm looking forward to. I could be wrong, but the world runs
On Duncan.
on Duncan. Duncan, baby. Duncan, look at me. Sponsor me. I'm a thick boy. Ooh, ooh. I think marketing is like the secret sauce. I think that's what's missing. I think social media marketing has replaced touring. Touring for exposure. You could tour. I think I've maybe made $50 on a tour. And that was probably solo. When I was in a band, we maybe made a couple $100, but you don't have to tour anymore. I think touring comes after you have something popping online. I would like to go on a tour. It probably, let's just say you did a 5-day run, $100 a day, give or take. That's gas, that's food, depending on how many people are in it. So that's like $500. And you're probably playing in rooms that nobody's even there. So it's like, okay, you could do a 5-day run and nobody's there and spend $500 and maybe make $300, which you're not really making anything. You're losing $200. Or you can put a bunch of video content together and put $500 into marketing. And that hopefully leads more people to your, whatever social media outlet you're using. And then hopefully in like 3 years, if you keep doing that, you could start selling tickets on the road. I think we need we're such a generation of where artists tend to they want it now. They want the immediate gratification. And it doesn't happen anymore. It just doesn't happen anymore. You have to, my hope is that if I keep writing good songs, if I keep putting out good content, if I keep making good videos, and keep up some sort of marketing strategy, within 3 to 5 years, I will have some sort of career or be much further along than I ever did. I mean, I feel like I've done all the stuff that you're supposed to do, just like put out an album, go play shows. And it's just like, granted, I probably wasn't that good. So that's definitely a thing, but it's just like, there's better ways to make it today. And that's what I'm trying to do. So we will see. I'm going to be doing a pre-save ad, on all socials, and then probably like a post or it's out. The song's out now. So do you want to share some of your metrics that you were talking about? I mean, Nathan just released a single, Spring Term, which I wrote for him. And
Ghostwriter.
So you released it Friday.
Right. I've done, I don't have a big budget, but I started running a few Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns, just like 75 to $100. And the song's been out 4 days now, 5 days. And I don't know the exact split between organic kind of like local streams and what the ads have gotten me yet, but it's definitely gotten me a lot of traffic. People have clicked on the link to my ad like 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So that doesn't translate to 1,000 listens necessarily, because people have to go through and listen to a certain percentage of the song or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that's people, I can choose which countries they're coming from, and there's a whole world that you can dive into.
And how many streams have you gotten? Is this just Spotify too?
Yeah, I'm just talking about Spotify right now. But I'm around 800 streams, and I'm starting from scratch too. So
yeah, you don't have a following or anything. That's as a small potatoes artist, if I can get 1,000 streams, if I can break that cursed less than 1,000 mark that shows everyone that you're a little bitch, if I can break that in even a week, I would shit my pants, dude. I would be overjoyed, absolutely overjoyed.
Yeah, I think Facebook ads, at least I had this, just marketing in general, I would say with music, it feels like inauthentic in some
Yeah,
way. Like
dude,
as an artist, it feels impure,
100%.
but also
That's
I'm trying to run a business.
Yeah, dude,
So
that's the way the game's played. We have this crazy idea that like people are gonna care about my art because it's my art and it's special, but like nobody's gonna hear your art because you didn't put any money into it. Like every product that we like have and love, the vast majority of them we have them because someone put a ton of money into marketing it to us. So it's like it doesn't devalue your art. It's just like that's how businesses are run. Businesses don't just make money because they start a business and put it out into the world. They make money because they have a business plan and they have a marketing budget.
I think all of us though love the fairy tale of the Billie Eilishes who put their song on SoundCloud and it blows up
Yeah,
magically.
but this is the thing we don't know about Billie Eilish. It's like did that just happen or did she have something else behind her?
Right.
Like
But that's the story that we want to believe. And even
It's
as
and it's and it's
artists,
probably a bunch of horse shit, dude. They don't like they like it because they want to keep feeding this crazy like oh it can happen to you. No, it fucking can't, dude. It's just not gonna happen. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think like most labels put 1.1 to $2 million into an artist just to break them. And then I was just heard a video of T-Pain the other day. He was saying like if you don't put I think it was like $250,000 into a single, you won't be able to compete with anybody. But the thing is it's just like we don't see the behind the scenes. So like even you, like people are going to see your song's probably going to break 1,000 in 10 days, something like that. People will look at that like, "Oh wow, that's amazing." But they didn't see that you put money behind it.
totally.
Billie Eilish is probably an industry plant. Probably. I mean, she lived in LA. Her parents were in the some sort of industry. I don't know. Who cares? She's still good. That doesn't just because you're an industry plant like doesn't mean you're
Yeah,
not good. You gotta like, and also it's like let's say you paid your way to the top. You still gotta stay on the top. You can't just keep paying and be on the top. Eventually, people are gonna be like, "Oh, this isn't good." But like good, like if you can pay and be good, like you're gonna be a legend. You know, you'll have a career for a long time.
right.
Me love you wrong time. Hey, that's racist. You laughed at an Asian person. It's fine. Um. So I guess big news in the world. Elon Musk just bought Twitter, which is kind of crazy to me. I heard about it. I didn't think it was going to happen just because it's like it just seems I don't know, it just seems like a movie, you know? Like this Tony Stark esque billionaire is just out there trying to save free speech, you know? Um I don't know. It's interesting. I have like mixed feelings about it. Part of me does see that there's like particularly when the CEO of Twitter talks about like yeah, we don't adhere to free speech, which that's kind of crazy. But also the other part of me is like, I don't know how I feel that a billionaire can just like buy something that you could argue is a public utility, you know, and he just bought it because he wanted to, and he took it private. That's like a scary idea. From a print, like when I think of my principles, I try to like hold on to them on both sides. Like let's say Putin bought Twitter. I would like that's a problem, you know? So I don't know. I don't think I'm making sense. Does that make sense? I'm just trying to like apply my cuz I think people tend to not apply their principles if you're not on your team.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But it just seems like I mean like I'm just like the day it happened I got on Twitter conservatives are just like, yes, this is a victory for democracy. And then all the liberals are like, this is a bad day for democracy. So it's like, I don't know. People's perspectives it's so fascinating to me that like, if it's your team, like, this is great. If it's not your team, this is a terrible day. But I don't know. Out of all the billionaires to buy a social media platform like this, I think Elon is the one who seems to be actively trying to make the world a better place, as opposed to deep in his pocketbooks. Granted, I don't know everything he does, but like, I mean, you think of like Zuckerberg, the dude looks like a stick of butter, you know? Like, he's there. He locked me out of my Facebook account. Thanks, Zucky. I don't know. He just buys other people's ideas because he can't think of any more. Jeff Bezos, I mean, you know, homie was like moved a historical bridge so he can get his fucking yacht through. Like, I don't know. Like, Elon's actually like he's trying to colonize Mars. I think maybe try to save the Earth first, but like at the same time, he's actively trying to, like, every decision he makes, it seems that it's for the better of humanity. Again, I don't know. I don't know everything that he does, but we'll see how it goes. I think in general, I'm a fan.
He got the sign of approval from Jack Dorsey,
I mean,
who
good
says,
old Jack.
quote, Elon is the singular solution I trust.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, I think in some ways maybe making a company like, I don't know. See, if somebody else that I didn't like privatize it, I'm like, uh-oh, we're in trouble. But I don't know. I mean, Twitter is kind of like, it's the news. It's like it's the central hub for news. So I think having someone like Elon who's pretty open to ideas that are differing, I think that's good. What do you got?
Well, when I was looking at that Jack Dorsey headline, I clicked on his name and this picture came up. So,
Oh yeah, Jack Dorsey's an interesting dude. He looks like he's always on ayahuasca. That's what he like. He's constantly on some sort of trip. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm optimistic. But we'll see. If people stop melting down, it's fine. The world, like, get off the internet. Everyone's just like, oh, the world's a terrible place. Like, but you know, just talk to a friend, have a neighbor over for dinner. Things are fine. Let's end up what positive notes. That's how we should start ending the podcast, on a positive note, because I can get a little fiery and complain. I don't know what's positive though. So maybe next time I'll think of something to end.
You're positive that dinner with friends is a good thing.
I am positive that dinner with a friends is a good thing. I'm also positive that, like, if this is, of course, I'm going to start talking about this. The problem with, like, politics is just, like, infiltrated everything. And people don't seem to know how to disagree with each other. And the crazy thing is when I talk to my conservatives friends, like, they blame everything on the left. And I talk to my liberal friends and they blame everything on the right. But none of them on either side has a good friend in their life who is on the opposite side of the aisle. It's because they're not talking to each other. And the only information they consume is what the media or what their algorithm tells them, which is going to feed you the fear porn that, oh, this crazy white nationalist did this. Oh, this crazy, like, Antifa person did this. It's like, they're not nearly as bad. Like the left in general, what they just want, like, the poor and the marginalized to be taken care of. And the right in general, they just want to be left alone. And those are two, like, incredible things, and we should fight for them. But we also have way more in common, dude. We have way more things in common. People are trying to be good parents. They're trying to be good siblings. They're trying to be good employees. They're trying to be, like, be a good friend. Like, that's what the vast majority of people in this country, we're all trying to do something better, but we let stupid fucking, like, culture war stuff, like, separate us. It's dumb. That's it. I don't know. I'm done. I was going to say positive note, but now I got all flustered. Anyway.
Speaking of how awful the algorithm is, hopefully the algorithm will be bringing you a Facebook ad for the St. Aubin Free Save campaign.
Yeah. St. Aubin, my single's coming out May 6th. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe. Text this to a friend. That's probably the best way to do it. Text something to a friend. I'm trying to make a living off of talking and singing. So that's it. All right, Daddy's out. Bye-bye.